This is the Land of the Dead part 2. Odysseus has created a pit with a sacrifice, and he is keeping the other ghosts back with his sword until Tiresias approaches. Now, before Tiresias gets there, Odysseus is going to encounter two very important people from his life, but they are now dead. One of them he didn't even know had really died, and that he left the man without burying him and doing what he was supposed to for the body. But the other person, he had no idea that this woman was dead. And it turns out that she had, in fact, committed suicide. Now, please pay attention to this section because Tiresias is going to give Odysseus very important information that he needs to know. Now, if he follows Tiresias's directions, he's going to make it home okay. He's got to follow Tiresias's warnings. But if he does not, then he will not make it back home, or something very, very bad will happen. Well, we can all guess. This is the Odyssey, and it is all about Odysseus's terrible journey home. So we can only guess what's going to happen. So let's begin. The ghosts start coming up to him, and it says, one shade, that's a ghost, came first, Elpenor of our company, who lay unburied still on the wide earth, as we had left him dead in Circe's hall, untouched, unmourned, when other cares compelled us. Because remember, they are all drugged up and they have lost track of time. They didn't even realize Elpenor was dead. And it says, now when I saw him there, I wept for pity, and I called out to him, how is this, Elpenor? How could you journey to the western gloom swifter afoot than I and my black lugger? How could you get here to the land of the dead faster than me and my ship? And Elpenor, it says, he sighed and he answered, son of great Laertes, Odysseus, master mariner and soldier, bad luck shadowed me and no kindly power, ignoble death. I drank with so much wine I slept on Circe's roof, and then couldn't see the long steep backward ladder coming down, and I fell from that height, and my neck bone buckled under, snapped, and my spirit found this well of dark. Now hear the grace that I pray for in the name of those back in the world, not here, your wife and father, he who gave you bread in childhood, and your own child, your own son Telemachus, long ago left at home. He says, listen to me, listen to what I want. It says, when you make sail and you put these lodgings of dim death behind you, you will moor your ship, that means stop your ship, I know, upon Aia Island. There, O my Lord, remember me, I pray. Do not abandon me, unwept, unburied, to tempt the gods' wrath while you sail for home. But fire my corpse, so go and find my dead body and put it onto a pile of wood and burn it, right? And all the gear I had, and build a cairn for me above the breakers. And you can see over on the right that a cairn is a conical heap of stone, and it's built as a monument. And he says, build a cairn for me above the breakers, so somewhere where the ocean can't sweep it away, and an unknown sailor's mark for men to come. So they'll see my gravestone, basically, and they'll know that there's a dead man buried. Heap up the mound there and implant it with the oar that I pulled in life with my companions. So that big oar that I was pulling on the ship, I want you to take that and I want you to bury it into the pile of stones. He ceased. And then I replied, unhappy spirit, I promise you the barrow and the burial. And so we conversed, and grimly at a distance, with my long sword between, guarding the blood, because he doesn't even want Elpenor to get to his sacrifice there, right? While the faint image of the lad spoke on, and now came the soul of Anticlea, dead, my mother, daughter of Autolycus, dead now, though living still when I took ship for holy Troy. Seeing this ghost I grieved, but I held her off through pang and pang of tears until I should know the presence of Tiresias. So he did not even know Anticlea, sorry I had mispronounced her name, Anticlea had died. And it turns out, guys, that this is cut out in your book, but she had committed suicide after she finally gave up waiting for her son to return home safely. Her daughter in law, Penelope, Odysseus' wife, was there and pleaded to her, please don't do this, don't do this. But Anticlea said, you cannot stop me. And Anticlea walked out into the ocean, up above her legs, her body, her neck, her head. And finally, she just walked into the ocean and she drowned herself. So, very sad story. But he had no idea that she was dead because when he left for Troy, she was still alive. So it says, soon from the dark, that prince of Thebes came forward bearing a golden staff, and he addressed me. So pay attention to this part. This is Tiresias talking. He's going to give Odysseus very important instructions. And he says, son of Laertes and the gods of old, Odysseus, master of landways and seaways, why leave the blazing sun, O man of woe, to see the cold dead and this joyless region? Stand clear and put up your sword, but let me taste this blood, and I shall speak true. And at this I stepped aside, and in the scabbard, where you put your sword, I let my long sword ring home to the pommel silver. As he bent down to the somber blood, then spoke the prince of those with gift of speech. Now, this is a soothsayer. He can see, even though he's blind, he knows the future. He can tell men what they need to know. And he says, great captain, a fair wind and the honey lights of home are all you seek, but anguish lies ahead. The God who thunders on the land prepares it. That would be, of course, Polyphemus's dad, Poseidon, right? He's preparing something bad for you. Not to be shaken from your track, implacable. In other words, you cannot make him calm down. He's so angry. Implacable, in rancor for the son whose eye you blinded. One narrow strait may you take through his blows. So it's one tiny little area in the ocean. And when you make landfall on Thrinacia first, and you quit the violet sea dark on the land, you'll find the grazing herds, some cows of Helios. This is the god of the sun. These are Helios's cows, by whom all things are seen. So Helios, it's like he has the eye, can see everything, right? All speech is known. Avoid these kine. Now, if you look over to the right in your book, kine means cattle, and hold fast to your intent. And hard seafaring will bring you all back home to Ithaca. So if you leave these cows alone. But if you raid the beeves, if you get hungry and you take them and you kill them, then I see destruction for your ship and crew. And though you survive alone, bereft of all your companions, so they're all gone, lost for years under a strange sail, shall you come home to find your own house on Ithaca filled with trouble, insolent men eating your livestock as they court your lady. Aye, but shall you make those men atone in blood? But after you've dealt out death in open combat or by stealth to all those suitors, then you go overland on foot and you take an oar until one day you come to where men have lived with meat unsalted and never known the sea. So this is so far inland, they've never even seen the ocean. They don't use salt for their meat, right? You're going to go that far inland with your big oar. And nor have they ever seen seagoing ships with crimson bows and oars that fledge light holes for dipping flight. The spot will soon be plain to you, and I can tell you how. Some passerby, somebody's going to come up to you and they're going to say, what winnowing fan is that upon your shoulder? In other words, while you're carrying your big oar, they're going to be like, what is that fan that you have? Because they don't even know that it's a ship oar, right? So you halt and then you implant your smooth oar in the turf and you make a fair sacrifice to Lord Poseidon in order to calm him down. This is what you're going to kill: a ram, a bull, a buck boar. Then you're going to turn back and you're going to carry out pure hecatombs at home. And if you look there, that means you're going to carry out huge sacrifices at home to all the wide heavens lords. This would be Zeus and Athena and Hera, the undying gods, to each in order. And then a sea-born death, soft as this hand of mist, will come upon you when you are wearied out with rich old age, your country folk in blessed peace around you. And all this will be just as I foretold. So let's look at hecatombs. That means large scale sacrifices, often the slaughter of 100 cattle or more at a time. So, what have we learned? That in the land of the dead, speaking to Tiresias, he has given Odysseus extremely valuable information that he needs in order to get home. He has given him a warning. He's told him where he needs to go through the ocean, that there's a one safe strait through the ocean that's going to be between two pieces of land, and you have to kind of make it through in order to avoid danger. He's also told him that when you land on the island where the Lord Helios has his cattle, leave them alone, and you're going to make it home safe and sound with all of your soldiers. But if you raid the beeves, if you eat the cattle, then very bad things will happen to you. So we can only guess what happens. So that is it for the land of the dead. Please stick around for our next section.